The following podcast has been rated PGN. Parental guidance is neglected.
Boy, it's been a long time since we've had a little father-son chat.
I am your father.
Father, if you can hear me, I failed.
Don't let your mother smell that beer on your breath. She'll take it out on me.
I'm here with my dad.
I know what you're gonna say, son. And you're right. You're right.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
I've abandoned my boy!
Hey everybody, welcome to PGN Podcast. Parental guidance is neglected. And as you can see once again, I'm Regan Burns, by the way. My co-host, Jackson Burns, my son, has a mouthful of food. Again, I apologize.
I just got back from set. I'm sorry, everybody.
This is 2 weeks in a row.
I haven't eaten in hours.
2 weeks in a row.
I know.
I'm starting the show, and you've got food in your mouth. There was a break in between?
There was a one-episode break in between.
Oh, there was. Last week you were not eating. But you wished you were eating when you did. Hey, guess what this is? This is our first. Well, welcome everybody. This is a PGN podcast. I already said that. Father son talking movies and life and things evolving around movies and life. I'm Regan Burns. This is my son Jackson Burns. He's back at college now. Spring break is over. Was it good to see me, by the way? He's not even answering. If you're watching, I got the eye roll. I got the
No, I did say see my mic cut out, but I made a sound. That was my reaction.
You can fix it in post.
No, it was good. It was good being back home. Nice having a little break, being with the family.
What are you shooting? You're on a set today. You're on a set tomorrow.
Yeah. So for my cinematography class, we're all required to work on a junior's big project. They call them APs where I go to school. And so I am DITing and I'm also G&E swing.
Whoa! Slow the booster jets down there, buddy. You're DITing and GISing and
I'm DIT
BFFing. What are you doing? We don't know what the hell any of that means, Jackson.
So DITing means that I am in charge of transferring the footage from the card that records the footage onto the hard drives that store the footage. So I transfer the footage, and then after that I do what's called transcoding,
sexy.
Which means that which basically means that I just make the footage into a smaller size so that's easier to edit. That's pretty much, and that's very exciting stuff. And then G&E swing just means that I'm extra hands on set pretty much. I help the grip.
GD swing?
G&E. Like G and E for like grip and electric.
Oh, grip
swing.
and electric. G&E swing.
So I'm just extra hands pretty much when I'm not DITing.
Look at you with all the initials. Pretty soon I'm not even gonna be able to talk to you.
I'm sorry.
Pretty soon.
I'm a new man. What can I say?
1.5 semesters.
I'm not giving you
1.5 semesters of college, and you're already playing that game. You know what this is, Jackson? This is our first PGN podcast after hours.
It is. We're shooting this at night.
This is our first night recording. We normally do this Saturday during the day, and then get it out to you guys on Sunday. But it's a Friday night. It's a late Friday night, and I think we both just want to go to bed, but instead we're going to go and start this, which I assume is going to be a 3.5 hour long show.
Oh, at least minimum, yeah.
For all our people out there. This is the show where we try to review at least one new movie for you a week. Some weeks we pick a classic movie ourselves and watch. Some weeks we turn it over to you guys as audience members to pick either good or bad films for us. But before we get to our normal standard stuff, last week, if you listened in, we did have some technical glitches. Jackson, you want to explain what happened there?
Yeah, so I was having this issue.
No, just just start by saying it was my fault.
It was not my. It was my fault.
Okay.
I will admit, I went to the Apple Store and they were like, "This was your fault," and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." So basically,
what happened is we put the show up, and then emails started pouring in. They couldn't hear you. You would drop out halfway through the show, and then it just sounded like me as a schizophrenic talking to myself. And
Yeah.
people seem to really enjoy it, by the way. They seem to like that second half.
Yeah, they were like, "Wow, it's without Jackson, it's so much more fluid and
it just really
it
makes
throws
sense.
a wrench in the whole thing when he's there."
But you fixed it. You never really told me what you fixed.
I fixed it. Yeah.
Was it one of those things
I
where
did fix it.
one of those things where you're like, "Oh my gosh, that was so simple. I should have known," or was it a big
my
glitch?
my laptop reset. I woke up one day and it was like, my laptop had shut down. I was like, okay, cool. And then that kind of fixed it a little bit. But my problem was that I had my storage was full of like a bunch of crap.
This is like a tech talk show. We're going way off the rails. Nobody is listening.
Basically, I messed up. But
okay, I just wanted to make it clear.
I fixed it, and now I know the solution.
And you did
permanently,
fix it,
so we're okay.
But if you did listen, look at you. You're still eating. I love that. I'll take over. You just let us know when your sorbet dessert is over, and we'll cover your mouth. Look at you, God. He's just, ladies and gentlemen, he's eating.
I'm doing my best here.
Last week was the Academy Awards. In our last show, we made predictions of who would win every single category. There was 23 categories. And
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it? You want to talk about it?
No, it's just stupid.
So
you got lucky on the stupid like documentary shorts.
First off, I did not get lucky.
We didn't watch any of those.
By the way, it doesn't matter if I watch them or not. I still know what's going to win. Okay? That's the problem. You have to do your research. You have to do some research. You need to be looking all over the internet. You need to be studying the categories. How many out of 23 did I get right, Jackson? 22. I missed one.
What did you miss? What was the one you missed?
I missed Best Animated Short, which, by the way, was an upset because everyone thought Robin was going to win, or Rockin' Robin, or whatever, the Pixar one.
Yeah. I heard that was really like big into the.
Yeah. So that was every other one I got right. How many did you get right? How many was it? It was close.
What was it? 11.
It was 11.
Was it 11?
It was 11.
Yeah, it was 11.
11 out of 23.
Yeah.
Well, it just goes to show you can put the boy in film school, but you can't put the film in the boy.
I'm just too. I don't know. Look, I was before the big obvious moment that obviously we're gonna have to talk about at some point.
Right.
This was a pretty disappointing Oscars. I mean, the hosts weren't that great.
I thought Amy did great when she came out by herself. I liked Amy's monologue. They all came out together, and it
all
felt
of them
awkward.
together was all.
Yeah, all together it felt really awkward and scripted and weird and not fun.
Yeah, and that one bit that I'm blanking on her name, but one of the hosts did where she like picked out male audience members, and she was like, "I'm gonna have to give you a COVID test behind the stage."
Yeah,
and then she made that really kind of gross like, "You're 18, right?" And I was like, "That's not appropriate."
I know there was so many reactions to that. Like, what if that had been a male host and he brought up all these women?
This is just creepy,
right?
It was just. I was like, "This is
like
it made and look, and this isn't me like being like, oh, I'm putting myself in the actor's shoes. It made me uncomfortable watching it. I was just like, this is a weird bit. I don't like this.
Yeah,
no, I just felt gross.
I did like Amy Schumer. I liked her reaction to the insanity that happened.
She did react very well.
The whole thing when she came out, she's like, oh, "Did I miss anything?" There's really a weird energy in the room. She kind of addressed it, and that was pretty cool. It's funny, the story I'll tell about you were back at college, and we were all here watching the Oscars, but we were watching them on delay on DVR because we had stuff to do, and so we were about an hour and a half, 2 hours behind, and you were watching it live. And Jackson sent me a text when
I sent everyone a text.
What's that?
I sent it out to all of you guys, and I just said,
yes.
When the thing that happens, text me. And that's all I said.
You sent out this cryptic thing like, oh my gosh, something's going to happen. Call me the second it does. And we're like, what are you talking about? They just started the show, and we're like, oh, somebody must have made a flub or a boob popped out or something, or there was a streaker. And I texted you after Drive My Car won for Best International Film because the director By the way, I think we both predicted that film would win, and it did.
We did, yeah. We did.
When the director was up accepting it, for some reason there was a woman up there with him, writing taking notes in a sketch pad, like standing next to him. She didn't say anything. I don't know who she was, but it was a woman, literally went up with him, the director and her, and she's writing stuff while he's giving his acceptance speech. And I'm like, that's really crazy. And so I text Jackson.
So, yeah.
I texted you, and I go, hey, man, that chick up on stage taking notes, that must be what you're talking about. And you were just
right?
You were like,
no.
Please keep watching.
Not even close. Yeah. But before you keep going, the woman, she was doing something very similar to what we had people who speak a different language come and talk at our film school. Translators do that a lot.
For Squid Game, right? You had the Squid Game?
Yeah, exactly, Squid Game. So the translators will often do a thing where they write. I think they write out what they're saying as they're saying it. That way they can go back and re-say it if they need to. But because speaking a foreign language is difficult because sometimes you can remember words for things and sometimes you can't. So I think she was just there and just in case he forgot a word or a sentence that he wanted to say to English. But he ended up getting through it very well.
Wow.
So.
The funny thing is that's what I thought the moment was. Like I texted my son,
this is the big thing.
I'm like, that was really weird having a lady take notes. And you literally just sent the words, no. Keep watching.
Keep watching.
And so I'm just glued the whole time going, when is this thing? And the show's going on and on. I mean, it's already, I think it was like the 2-hour mark when it happened. And
it was pretty deep in, yeah.
And then when it did, okay. So who'd you watch the show with, Jackson? Anyone or by yourself?
A lot of people. A lot of people, yeah.
What was the reaction in the room when it happened? Was it the typical, like everyone thought it was a bit? Did everyone shut up? Was everyone shocked?
Thought it was a bit.
Everyone thought it was a bit.
Everyone was like, oh, that was, wow, I didn't expect that. And then the moment where everyone was like, oh, this might not be a bit was because everything started cutting out. And we were like, oh, things are happening right now that you can't put on live TV.
Yeah.
And so we're like, oh, okay. But even then, people were still like, this might still be like some kind of bit that they're trying to do where it's like, oh, the Oscars are going crazy.
Yeah.
And so we kept watching. And then it really became real when we got, like, the tweets started coming out of the uncensored version where Will Smith is going, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. And just, like, saying it a couple times. And then we're like,
really good impression, by the way. I think you really
thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, thank you. I've been practicing, so thank you.
Yeah. There was...
What was your reaction? And who was watching it when you were... Was it the whole family watching it with you?
Yeah, your mother was here. Okay. Your sister was here. It was definitely silent for a minute. And it was a lot of confusion. I immediately knew it was real because you had kind of given me a heads up that something was going to happen in the broadcast. And I'm like, if that's a comedy bit, that wouldn't be a big thing.
Right, you wouldn't say anything. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was kind of in shock and couldn't really tell because ours was edited, so we didn't get the full-on screaming, keep my wife's name.
Ours was too, yeah.
So, I think you're the one who sent us the uncensored version minutes later.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you, I wasn't as shocked by the slap as I was by the acceptance speech when he won.
Really?
That really, I think took me to the next level of this whole thing is really pathetic. And we've just dissected it in the media and every talk show and late night show and blogger has talked about it this week. Yeah. So I'm not pausing here because I'm trying to think of a new twist on it. I think that when he came out and gave his speech, I got even more angry and more disgusted with him.
Yeah.
I felt it was a performance, the speech. But I also, my first thought, and I remember looking at your mother and your sister and going, somebody's off his medication. Like, everything about it to me said, like, this guy is bipolar or schizophrenic.
He's like unhinged. Yeah.
How do you go from so many different emotions, from visceral anger to 10 minutes later he's back laughing again, and then he's crying and being consoled by Bradley Cooper, and then he's crying up on the stage, and then he's kind of trying to make light of it. And then they show all these videos of him, like, the minute the Oscars are over, he's out partying and dancing, and apparently he had a great time that night. And I know the apology was accepted the next day by his publicist. I mean, I need to see his face talking about this, but it just, and then the apology that came out the next day just smelled like a press release from managers. Like, you've got to do this.
Yeah. Here was my one of the best takes on the whole situation I've gotten is that imagine that Chris Rock had made a joke about editors.
Right.
And an unknown editor walked on a stage and slapped Chris Rock.
He would have been
stopped before he even hit the stage.
He would have been tackled.
The only reason that this is acceptable in any capacity is because Will Smith is a public figure.
Yeah. Do you think?
And I don't even like. Okay, go ahead.
Do you think they really asked him to leave? Because the Academy announced, I guess yesterday, they said that the Academy came out and said, we actually asked Will Smith to leave, and he refused to.
I don't believe that for a second. They gave him the award like 10 minutes later. I just really don't. I know the decision had probably been made already, but I don't know if I bet they did it, but in a very like, this is just a formality. Like, we have to ask you to leave, but please don't. Like I just don't see the Academy is a very money-driven system, and I don't think they would have risked losing that speech for anything. So
here's the other thing about this week too. If one more person comes up to me and asks me, "Was that real? Is it? They just want the ratings, right? They are. Hey, don't forget, they're actors." I'm like, first off, you don't pull a stunt like that 2 hours into a show to get ratings. You try to get people to watch beforehand, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely.
And secondly, I mean, with all the video that's out there of him, is there anything that makes you think it was staged? And who benefits from that?
And the thing that always hits me too is that, like, the way that Chris Rock talked afterwards. Because he seems shaken. He seems like
he's definitely shaken. He's he had his concert the other night.
He handled it very, very well. But I mean,
yeah.
And you're a big Chris Rock fan, right?
Huge Chris Rock is one of Chris Rock, Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, top 3 canons of your generation, Jackson, as far as comedy goes. Nobody comes close to those 3.
And now all 3 of them are in somewhat hot water for different reasons.
They've all gotten into trouble.
They've all kind of just gotten into trouble.
I know.
In the last 10 years. So funny.
You know what? That's because the pendulum is swung so hard. Comedians are so scared. I'm not saying they're scared to be physically assaulted. I know I'm not jumping. A lot of the comedians this week are like, now the floodgates are open and people can storm the stages. And I don't know if that's a huge concern necessarily, but that concern of just being canceled or judged or career. I mean, the last thing you want is artists to feel like they're reined in and, have to be guarded and censor themselves before they try stuff or do stuff. But Fair,
but also Louis C.K. did like full on show his penis to people without consent.
No.
Yeah.
I think I'm talking more Chappelle and Louis C.K. has got some issues, and but I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen his stand-ups since afterwards, it's absolutely hilarious the way he addresses it.
No, he is hilarious though. He is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to go too deep into it. And most people have been reposting. I love D.L. Hughley's take on all this. If anyone listens to his podcast or his stuff that he's published writing-wise, he's got great takes on it. Everyone's pushing the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar album around. We're going to have a little text thing on our screen.
Why?
because your mother is texting me, and that's showing up on our...
Oh, no, it won't show up.
Oh, those messages don't? Oh.
Nope.
Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my take on it. As the week has progressed, because we're now a week removed, my anger and disgust, I won't say anger, but kind of just my general disgust with Will Smith has stayed pretty even keel, but my sadness and disappointment for Chris Rock is really escalated. Where this week I'm just like, and there's people out there that are like, oh, his ticket sales are going to boom now, and this is not what he wants to be known for. He got slapped in front of millions of people.
I heard he had a stand-up show. He had a stand-up show this week.
Yeah, he did.
And he didn't even bring it up.
He mentioned it very lightly at the top. He made a joke about, how's your week going? And he goes, listen, I'm still processing it. I'm gonna talk about this at some point. But yeah, I mean, he's a grown man. He's older than me, and he's on TV and he's getting slapped and demeaned. His family saw that. His kids saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. Any other thoughts on the Slapgate, or is there a nickname for it? Has anyone come up with a?
I don't think so. I think it's just.
I've heard the slap heard
Chris
around
Rock.
the world and all that.
I have heard that. Yeah, I did hear a slap.
Oh, and by the way, to everyone out there going, enough with this. There's a war in Ukraine. We can chew bubble gum and walk at the same time, everybody.
Okay. Yeah, that's a terrible take. I'm sorry.
I'm tired of the take of like we're giving this too much oxygen when there's a horrible thing going on in the world. There's always horrible things, and they need obviously just as much attention as every other atrocity and horror in the world. But that doesn't mean we can't address something going on that's maybe not as important in the big scheme of things. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. The Oscars.
Are you ready? The Oscars.
The Oscars. I won.
Ready to start talking about some movies?
I won the pool.
Yeah, and you did win. I will give you that.
I won the pool. We saw. Did you see? Your films this week? We had 2 assignments.
I did. We had 2 assignments.
We want
to start with Morbius? I'm assuming.
We certainly can.
Yeah, one of the week.
Big film opening this week is Morbius, starring Jared Leto as Dr. Michael Morbius. What do we call these, Jackson? These are, they're not villain movies because they're kind of anti-heroes. Anti-hero films. This is another one of Sony's attempts to try to kind of get their Marvel / franchise going. This is an association with Marvel, although it's not officially a Marvel film. It's
not in the same cinematic universe, as they say, as the Doctor Strange is in the...
Or maybe it is at the end. Mm-hmm.
I will talk about that later because I did do my research on what the whole situation is with that.
We can get
into that later.
Yeah. Stars Jared Leto as Michael Morpheus. This is a boy who was born sick with some kind of blood disease.
I think it's Chimera. Is that what it's called? Chimera or something like that?
Yeah, Chimera. I don't know. But he needs blood transfusions like 3 times a day, every day for his whole life. We start out the film with him in an orphanage or a children's hospital or something. It's never very clear. And, of course, there's his little best friend who also has the disease. Was there ever any doubt from the very second, Jackson, that at some point friend was going to go against friend as they got older?
His name is Lucius.
Yeah, his name is...
Come on! His name is like Lucian or something.
Yeah. So
I mean, they nicknames him Milo, but his real name is Lucian.
Is the devil.
Come on now.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is another... Again, I don't think Sony has much faith in these films because the first 2 Venom films, which... I just despised. I mean, I could not have hated them
I never
more.
saw the second one. The first one was terrible.
The second one was even worse than the first. These movies clock in at just an hour and a half. And trust me when I tell you, they're stretching it to an hour and a half. This one really just felt like it had nowhere to go.
Oh, my God. the pacing was so fast too. Everything was moving so. They were trying to get through as quickly as they could, but it still lasted forever.
It still just dragged at the hour and 35 that it was. Needless to say, Michael Morpheus grows up to become a doctor who invents fake blood or something. He invents fake blood, blood.
Artificial blood, and then for some reason he was like, bats are the only solution to cure my disease. So he mixes his DNA with bat DNA in international waters so he doesn't get arrested for doing malpractice. And then you're never going to guess what happens next, guys. It goes wrong.
So is he a vampire, or is he a bat person, or is there a...
He's a bat person.
He's a bat
person.
But he's not a Batman. He's not Batman. He's just a bat person.
Yeah. yeah, I guess that's a good way of putting it.
Right. And needless to say, without giving away the entire film, his friend also grows up and decides that he wants to be a bat person too, and there's going to be...
On the topic of the friend.
Yeah.
I mean,
Matt Smith from Doctor Who. He was one of the Doctor Who's.
Yeah, I had a massive Doctor Who phase in middle school. That was like my thing.
That was your boo.
And this was such a disappointing showing from Matt Smith because he played a really great Doctor Who. I will say he was great as the Doctor, but I'm not going to fault him for it entirely because the writing in this thing was less than lackluster. But I mean, overall, it was. I was like, wow, this is not your best showing, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be really, at least, surprised, but unexpectedly and not happy about it. But this isn't really much of a superhero movie. It played more like a Dr. and Jekyll horror film. I thought. I mean, as far as action sequences go, they were far and few between. It was just an awful lot of him hunting and killing people. Some good, some bad. That's the inner turmoil, I guess, of Morbius. But it's not your typical. It's very, very dark. I would put it more in the category of a horror film than I certainly ever would a superhero film.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
And with that said, the special effects were horrible.
Especially on Matt Smith, they were like. Morbius's were fine, I thought, for the most part. But the stuff they did to Matt Smith's face was just so unnatural and looked not like him at all.
It looked like Morbius, they'd CGI'd Jared Leto's face, and then Matt Smith had like a Halloween mask on or something. His looked like...
Yeah, I was like, what is... It looks so fake. I was like, how did they mess up so bad?
And how come every time Bat people fly around, there's little wisps of color? I didn't...
Yeah, never explained that.
Like a smoky, wispy... I read something online where he's like, apparently Bat people fart a lot, and there's just fart gas floating around them at all times.
Yeah, it made no sense.
I didn't...
It made... So much of this movie made no sense, and even... Not to give too much away, but the ending with the girl... why...
Yeah.
And how did she turn into a vampire person?
I don't. Yeah, and she may or may not be back.
She'll be if they ever make a sequel, because God knows this isn't going to do well.
Well, I think it's going to fool a few people this first weekend because again, there's not a lot out there unless you're getting suckered into that Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum thing. I think it'll probably do well right now because there's just no competition, and then I don't really know what's coming down the gate, so it may do okay. I don't think the Venom ones were huge, but they ended up doing a sequel to that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know.
So I'm not going to give away the bonus scenes or what this teases, but it's for the diehards. Obviously, Sony's been trying to set up this Sinister Six thing, which is the 6 supervillains coming together to eventually go against Spider-Man. And many of the things in this movie kind of plant the roots for that. Do you care, Jackson? Are you dying to see all these villains come together?
A little bit.
You're not.
Not even. Oh man.
Yeah.
If anything were to, and this movie didn't even help. It didn't help at all with that. At least I think Jared Leto sucks. In general. And I don't think I've ever seen Jared Leto in a good movie.
You haven't,
and maybe it's just because I haven't seen
He has good film. He's the Dallas Buyers Club, which he won the Oscar for. He's very
Okay, I haven't seen that.
He is very, very
the only like good movie that I've seen him in was Fight Club, and he didn't talk in it, I don't think.
No.
And if he did, it was maybe 1 or 2 lines.
Right.
So
Do you feel like
I think he's an asshole too. So.
Well, do you feel like the fact that he's kind of a douchey cult leader, rock star wannabe thing in real life, does that affect you when you go into a film like this?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. Especially when they're like, he's
even...
charismatic and fun. I'm like, you own a cult.
Yeah.
You're a crazy person.
Yeah.
Oh, and one more thing I want to bring up. Just talking about charisma in general. What did you think of the whole buddy cop thing they tried to pull with the 2 police officers?
Taye Diggs and Al Madrigal, who have both done good work in other things. I actually think Al.
They have both done good work. I agree.
Yeah, Al's a pretty funny guy, and Taye's good in those Fast and the Furious movies. But yeah, it was almost like the movie.
Forced.
Yeah, I think they wrote the film and they went, no one wants to watch Jared Leto just be a vampire for an hour and a half, so we have to have some. The girl who is not a love interest, she's just a cohort scientist. It really was pretty bland. Like you said, Matt Smith, you like as Doctor Who, was not a great villain choice.
No, definitely not.
I got to be honest with you. I saw this late last night, Thursday night. I went to a 10:00 screening.
You fell asleep, didn't you?
I fell asleep. I'm not going to. I made it.
How much did you miss?
Okay, so I made it through the first half hour. Okay. And the second half hour of the movie was that thing where I kind of would wake up every few minutes, kind of watch a second or two of it, and go, okay, so now he's on a boat killing people. Okay, all right.
Right, just dipping in and out.
Right, dipping in and out. And then the last half hour, I have no. Next thing I knew, they were fighting on a rooftop, and that's when I.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you did miss a lot.
Yeah,
but really not. But you missed a lot of the movie, but you didn't miss.
I didn't miss anything.
A lot.
Yeah.
The one thing that I had the most trouble with is that Matt Smith doesn't really have any motivation for killing people.
He's just all suddenly bad. He was there. Well, he got bullied. There's one scene. There's one scene where he gets bullied as a kid, where you can go, oh, I guess he got bullied a lot.
Right.
So maybe he has
apparently
anger
the only
him.
city in Greece where everyone speaks like English for no reason. I was like, they're like Greece. I was like, oh, what's happening here? And then everyone spoke fluent English. I was like, oh man, come on.
No accents. What's his name? Jared.
They had British accents.
Yeah. His doctor did. Yeah.
Yeah, his doctor did, and I don't know.
Yeah. Morbius. On my scale of grades, boy, it's not been real good lately. Yeah. I'm gonna give Morbius a D.
Okay.
It's not, and the only reason I'm not going lower is because I gave an F to both of the Venom movies, and it's just,
and they were worse.
It's just a smidge better.
Okay.
Than that.
I almost went one lower, but I'm going to give this film a 2 out of 10. I almost hit him with a 1, but there was one cool fight sequence, I will say, in a subway station. And they did it it was a 1er, and I thought it was interesting. I thought like, okay, that's a cool moment, but that was about it.
That's like 2/3 of the movie, so that's when my eyes were kind of opening and closing. So I do remember a subway. I couldn't give you all the specifics about it. All right, there's your review of Morbius. Danielle Koenig, a friend of mine who hosts a very funny podcast called How to Survive with Christine and Danielle, or with Danielle and Christine, whichever one comes first. She suggested a film for March, because every month we will ask for one classic, great film that you think Jackson and I may not have seen, and then we want you to throw us a Clockwork Orange movie. That's the film that our eyelids are being forced open, much like Malcolm McDowell's were in Clockwork Orange, and we force ourselves to sit through this film.
I'm so excited to talk about this. I've been waiting so long.
Wow. When she sent us this film, I had never heard of it. Jackson had never heard of it. And the second I saw the trailer, I said, I think I have to see this. The movie is from 1980. It stars Catherine Mary Stewart, and then a bunch of people who never went on to work again.
Rightfully so.
It's directed by Menahem Golan, who actually ended up going on to have the Golan Company and then took over the Canyon Group. He was responsible as a producer for tons of schlocky films back.
He directed something with Sylvester Stallone because I was looking into it.
Yeah, he did Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's also produced film. He produced the last Superman movie, The Quest for Peace, with Christopher Reeve, that was a train wreck, and a bunch of the Death Wish sequels and Chuck Norris films. He's a schlocky. He was a multi-trillionaire. I'm not going to make fun of him. He made more money than I ever will. But
I am going to make fun of him in a couple minutes. I'm not going to lie.
The name of the movie is The Apple from 1980. Jackson, did you watch it?
I watched The Apple.
And
before we talk about it,
Yeah.
I have a story that I want to share.
Yeah. Oh, please
because
do.
while I was
Please do.
watching it, I was so curious about what this movie, the history of it, and all that. So I did a little bit of a deep dive. And I have a story that I want to share about it.
Oh, please do.
So this film premiered in 1980 at the I think it was a Montreal Film Festival, or some big Canadian film festival.
Okay.
And with the movie, the people who watched it were given free vinyl records of the soundtrack.
Oh, 'cause it is a musical. It is a musical.
It is a musical. The audience hated the movie so bad that they took the records out of the sleeves and threw it at the screen. And not just that, but the director was so upset that night he almost killed himself by jumping off the balcony of his hotel room.
Are you serious?
And I have a quote that I saved here. Hold on, let me see if I can pull this up real quick.
Is that really true, or is that urban legend?
No, and let me see if I can pull this up. Hold on.
This.
Oh, and also, I'll come back to this in a little bit, but let me see what the exact quote was. Let's looking back at the page here. Music, blah blah blah. Themes, losing the perception. Yeah, very very passionate about this project. Okay, he said, quote, "It's impossible that I'm so wrong about it. I cannot be that wrong about the movie. They just don't understand what I was trying to do."
Wow.
This was his passion project. This was his E.T.
When you watch it, you can tell that who's ever making it really believes in it. You really can. Listen.
Yeah.
Say what you will about this. This is, in a nutshell, a psychedelic, disco, acid trip of a musical set in a supposed futuristic world of 1994 or 95.
In which one company has taken over the entire world.
A record company named Boogaloo International Music, BIM, controls the world by forcing everyone to wear little stickers on their BIM marks on their head and listen to music by their
competition,
artists. Yeah,
a music competition.
There was some kind of
that
Euro
they run, but also they pick who wins, and then hire the losers.
Yeah, and a young couple from Canada come, and they're like little folks. They have folksy love songs. And then the girl gets taken away by Mr. Boogaloo to be made a superstar. And there's orgies and roller skates and motorcycles. And God shows up at the end as Mr. Tom.
What was that? Oh my God. Mr. Tom. And here's the crazy part. Mr. Tom is the same actor as the hippie leader who they're with.
Yes.
It's the same guy.
And that actor was the villain in Lethal Weapon 2, I believe. Josh Ackland is his name. He's one of the few guys I recognized in that. Yes, so he's the guy who plays God. And then, of course, the International Music Record Label has an army. They have an army of people.
They run the police force of the world.
And then Alfie, the male who gets rejected by the record company...
Yeah.
He lives in an apartment with a crazy New York landlady.
It's his... Oh, is it a landlady?
Yeah. That was.
I thought it was his mom.
No, that's.
And then he groped her.
No, that's a landlady.
And I was like,
he did grope.
I literally, I'm looking at my notes right now. I wrote in all caps. He grabbed his mom's tits.
No.
That was the note that I wrote.
No, that was the landlady.
Ugh.
It was still weird.
Wow.
It was still incredibly
It was still
weird.
out of nowhere. He just like came from behind and was like, ah.
I
was like,
love
what is
this.
going
I
on?
love the scenes where Alfie, the abandoned half of the music duo, because they take Catherine Mary Stewart, the hot one, to make her a rock star. He was always just in pain and leaning on walls and staggering, and then he gets sucked into that orgy sequence. That
Yeah.
song.
I have a lot to talk about, but before we get too far away from it, the woman who played the landlord also went off to have a very successful career. She's in all the Harry Potter movies.
Yep, that's right.
As the professor, the botany professor.
I knew
And
her
also,
from
I
somewhere.
have one more. Yeah, see, it's familiar. One more thing. I was trying to find how much money this movie made in the box office because I couldn't find it out.
I don't think it
but
got.
I did find the budget.
Did it get released? I wonder if you can.
I don't know. It didn't say how much money it had, but the movie cost $10 million to make.
No, it did
which
not.
in today's money is $36 million. And here's the funny part, is in the movie, they reference the budget. Because there's one scene where where at the very end when they're with the hippies, and they go, how much does this whole operation cost? And he goes, $10 million.
that's
and then
right.
the hippie guy turns around and he goes, yeah, just a small lump of money if you ask me. And then they all laugh about it because that's how much
the actual movie costs
to make. Which is crazy.
I even blanked just for a second that there's an entire commune of hippies that live in a cave.
Hippies?
They live in a
Yeah.
cave underneath the ground. And we're not talking about like a few of them. There's it's like a planet beneath the Planet of the Apes set where they're all, oh my gosh. I gotta tell you, Jackson, I really enjoyed watching this film.
You're a crazy person.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's horrible. It's horrible. But if you asked me right now, would I watch The Apple again or Morbius? I'd watch The Apple. What would you?
That's fair. That's a fair take.
Okay.
I probably would watch The Apple again, but I don't know. Okay, here's one more thing I have to
Oh my
add.
God. It was.
Because it's one of those movies it could be considered so bad it's good.
Right.
But this might just be like the Gen Z in me coming out. Ground rule, never turn a rape scene into a musical number. Like, can we just get on that stage where like she raped him?
Yeah.
And then they're all like singing and dancing, and I'm like, this is.
Do you think because it was
not
Do you think it was
okay.
because it was a woman seducing a man that it was not as bad?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was the 80s. You know,
Well,
I mean, that's not an
here's
excuse.
the thing.
But it was.
Here's the
80s.
thing. The movie was released in 1980. Everything about this film feels like the 70s.
Scream
It's
70s.
The wardrobe, the hair, the hippie references, the psychedelic drug trips. Danielle, hats off to you because I think this is going to be.
How did you find this movie?
How did I never hear of this movie?
This is.
Listen, okay, here's the thing. I implore all of you, at the very least, go to YouTube and watch the trailer.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we will talk about this. You could watch the trailer for the rest of your life and not have a sliver
no.
a clue of what this movie is about.
Oh, no.
Not even a little bit.
Nope. You go.
And I want to ask you one question.
Yeah.
What accent does the main male protagonist have? What was his name again? Archie?
Alfie.
I
think.
What was that at? Was it Canadian?
I think it was.
Because they mentioned he was from Canada.
I think
but
it was.
It didn't sound Canadian.
I think it was French Canadian. I think.
Yeah, but really stretched.
Right.
Stretch there.
And she didn't have it.
Oh.
Yes.
How can we not talk about the dream sequences?
Well, I mean, they're all dream. Maybe the whole thing was a dream sequence.
And that's why God shows up at the end?
I don't know.
What a twist. That was the last thing I saw coming.
What about the spec?
And they didn't even. How did he find out about this Mr. Tom character? Because they do a jump cut of a year later. They like seek refuge in this commune of hippies,
Right.
and then we do a jump cut to a year later. The police of BIM have surrounded them and are arresting them, and he goes, "Don't worry, Mr. Tom will come."
Right.
And in my
Mr.
head, I'm going,
Tops,
"Oh,
yeah.
this is going to be a character that we know." maybe it was like, oh, someone like changed and became a superhero or something.
No, it's just a guy in a white suit.
God came down in a
gold
a car,
Lincoln Continental.
A gold Lincoln Continental.
How about the effects on that? Okay, listen, everybody. Here's the deal. Obviously, we enjoyed this, Jackson. On some level, you really enjoyed it. You gotta admit.
I gave this a pretty bad score.
The scores,
but
the songs.
But I'm debating changing it now because this is such a fun movie to talk about.
Yeah.
It's so...
And you can see it. You can see it.
It was terrible, but it was entertaining. It kept me.
And what did we want? We saw it for free. You can see it online for free at...
on Tubi?
Tubi, yeah. Tubi had it.
You have ads.
Yeah, there was a few commercial breaks, but not even like 2 or 3, maybe 4. Watch the trailer, and I guarantee you're going to want to sit through this film. Look, I'm never going to say it's a great film, but on my grade scale of whether it kept my attention and whether I wanted to keep watching it and whether at the end I felt entertained, I'm going to give it a C-.
Wow.
What do you think of that?
Wow.
Maybe it's just because it's such a throwback.
Wow.
It's so bad.
But it's not, though. It's like not in any... it's just, it has the aesthetics, but it's just not...
It's
the only thing
bad.
it's a throwback to is some random director's
even some of the,
dream
but
of,
even some
capitalist,
but some of the cheesy songs are good. Even some of the songs, like Power. I still hear the song Power. That's the one she sang with the motorcycles. Power.
I have a confession.
Yeah. Oh.
I almost bought the record. For this
You totally.
I almost went online.
Is
and
it
bought
out there?
The record as a bit. Here's the thing. It was like I looked online. It was like $3. I was
Are
like,
you
oh,
serious?
I'm sold.
Why
but
didn't you
the
get it?
shipping is expensive.
Oh, was it
the shipping's expensive.
coming from like
It's
Great Britain
20.
or something?
I was like, oh yeah. I was like, it's not worth it for that. If I see it in a store, I'll buy it.
It's got to be
like, hands down. I'll buy it.
It's got to be online somewhere, right? The soundtrack. If any of our listeners,
oh yeah, no, it is. If you go on Discogs, it's there.
Oh, it's there. Okay,
Yeah.
You listen to the music. Check it out. Danielle, I think, round of applause for Danielle.
Yeah, seriously, great recommendation.
Great recommendation. I mean, that was...
Oh, wait, I have to give my score.
Also. Oh, yeah. What would you give it?
So, originally...
I've talked you up.
I had it as a 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10. Come on.
But I have since bumped it up to a 3 out of 10.
It's the Apple.
Because I enjoyed it more than Morbius. You were right.
Yeah.
If I had to pick between Morbius and this movie,
you would watch.
I would watch this movie.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So
on par with The Lost Daughter.
Why was it called the Apple?
Well, they had that dream sequence where they were like, you have to bite the apple. So I guess the apple was like a metaphor for
tempted
being tempted by.
I guess they're Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve, and he's the snake, the record producer. And,
that's a really good That's a really good point.
Yeah, just good. It's been tempted by the apple. She took the bite. He didn't. Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, but hippies.
Think about that.
But I don't want to give it away. But just trust me, the hippies and God are on it.
The hippies and God are on their side, so
right.
we at least have that. Yeah.
Did anyone pull any pranks?
Okay,
anyone pull any pranks on you on April 1st? It's April 1st today. No pranks. No one pulled anything on you.
No, I was not. I mean, we've got like a little over 2 hours here, so you never know. But I was safe for today.
Oh.
Did you make it? What about you? Did you make it out safe?
I did. No one tried to pull anything on me. I wouldn't.
What do you sound disappointed?
I don't know. Remember when you were young and people would do stuff with you and be like, "That's so stupid." Now no one does anything to me at all. And it's just.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, I didn't work out today. I feel like
I was so disappointed because I woke up yesterday so motivated and I was like, I'm gonna go to the gym today. I'm gonna work out so hard. And I put my gym clothes on and I went to my closet to get my gym shoes. And they weren't there. And I was like, my running shoes. And I left them at home.
Did you leave your running shoes here? Are you serious?
Yeah, I texted Mom about it. I was like, I'm going to try, because I have to go back down there anyways for a doctor's appointment, so I'll swing by.
Okay. If not, I mean, I have to go. I'm going to go watch your sister dance tomorrow. I can swing by and drop them to you if you want tomorrow.
Oh, cool. Right. I won't be, I'm going to be in Santa Monica on set, so.
Oh. You know what else we should do? We should just plan everything during our podcast. This is probably the most
Yeah,
exciting
what are you doing
part.
next month? What's your schedule like?
Hey, yeah, do you guys want to go out for pizza? Or
Yeah, no. Grab coffee or something?
Well, we're here at April. We've been doing the show for 1 month now, Jackson. 1 month. How do you feel? How do you feel it's going?
1 month in. I feel good. Mm-hmm. We've had some tech issues.
Some tech
but
issues, yeah.
We're learning. We're growing.
We're growing.
I
thought you were supposed to be
webcam's been updated.
I thought you were supposed to be a veteran at this by now.
To see, Jake handles all the tech stuff
for your other
on
podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. So he's more the professional. I'm just there. I'm just kind of there. Yeah, to be honest. So yeah.
Okay. Well, next week, the big movie release, Jackson, is. Well, we got one definitely we're going to see, and Jackson's a busy college student, so I never want to put too many demands on him. So for 1 week, if I've seen more stuff, or some other week he's seen more stuff than me, we can always talk about it. We both still want to see very badly Everything, Everywhere,
all at once,
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Looks so good.
Looks really good.
And I heard, I no spoilers, but I heard that there's a couple references to Wong Kar-wai, who is a fantastic director. So I'm very excited to see how they do.
Oh well, Jackson, I wasn't even interested in this film until I heard there was a reference to Wong Tong
Have you
Kai.
Have you seen Chungking Express?
I think I have. I think
Good
so.
movie.
Is he the one who directed that?
Yeah, he did that, and he did a couple other bit In the Mood for Love.
So that is on our I'm going to say for next week, that's on our to try list because it's not playing in theaters near us. Both of us have to drive into Hollywood or something to see that. It's kind of limited release right now, but I think we'll both give it our best shot. But we'll definitely see the big movie that's opening next week, which is directed by my good buddy Michael Bay, who I did a film with. That is the movie.
What movie is this?
Ambulance with Jake Gyllenhaal. That is the big release next week. Look at Jackson. Jackson and I went and saw some films while he was here for spring break, and we were watching the trailers of all the upcoming movies, and we just looked at each other and we were like, how are we going to... Is there any of this? There's a lot of garbage coming up. I know, except The Northman.
No. I'm not talking about that.
Oh.
There's a new trailer they showed in my theater when I went to go see Morbius. That looked actually pretty good.
Did I see it too? Which
and
trailer?
It's got Brad Pitt in it.
Oh yeah,
it's called Bullet Train.
Bullet Train. Yeah, that's later.
That looks pretty good actually.
Yeah, that's late in the summer. So I am looking forward to Bullet Train. I'm looking.
Oh wow,
I'm looking forward to Northman. I definitely want to see Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And we will definitely check out Ambulance next week and see what. Mr. Bay has done. He's a character.
Man, you're really making me struggle to find people to watch these with me, man. I only got one person to come with me to Morbius.
Oh, really?
And even that was a.
Did they like it?
Was a stretch. Well, here's the thing. I didn't realize until we got there, but it was in Dolby, so it was more money. So I was basically just like, spend $20 on this horrible.
Oh, and
movie.
you don't have to pay a thing because you're an A-lister.
Nah, it was free for me.
It's free for you. I know. So you're seeing more. Well, I'll tell you what. If you would rather next week, instead of Ambulance, see Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
I knew you were gonna say that.
You want to have
that face?
Okay. You want to stick with Ambulance? Shall we stick with it?
We'll stick with Ambulance.
Okay,
yeah,
Ambulance, and we'll do our best to see Everything, Everyone, All at Once. Yeah. And it's my turn again. It's top of the month, so It's a classic film. This is a movie that I am picking, demanding that both Jackson and I watch, something that he can easily attain online or at his massive library of films at his school, and watch in his spare time. And this is a classic film that I have not seen. I regret not seeing it. I don't feel like I'm a real film fan for having not. It is the 1960. I'm going to go back to the 60s again. I did it last month with Last Picture Show. Well, actually, it was a 70s film, but this one actually is from the 60s. 1960. It stars Jack Lemmon, Shirley MacLaine, and Fred McMurray. It was written and directed by the great Billy Wilder, who did Some Like It Hot and 7 Year Itch and Sunset Boulevard, Double Indemnity. But I have never seen The Apartment. Jackson, that is our assignment this week. Have you seen The Apartment?
I've never heard of The Apartment.
Well, of course you haven't, because you were born when there was such a thing as VCRs.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard of this before. This is interesting. The Apartment.
The Apartment. It is. I don't. Here's the thing. I know I should know more about the film. I can see I know you're looking it up right now. I believe.
Yeah, I'm just adding it to my watch list.
I believe it received some accolades, and I'm double checking that as we speak.
It's got an average of 4.5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd, so it's pretty.
It is the winner of Best Picture. It won the Oscar.
Okay.
It won Best Director for Billy Wilder. It won Best Writing, Story and Screenplay. It won Editing. It was nominated for Best Actor for Jack Lemmon. Shirley MacLaine was nominated for Best Actress. Jack Crushen was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. It got a cinematography nomination. It got a sound nomination. It is a winner of the Oscars, and I have never seen The Apartment. So I feel like...
Wow. You should be ashamed.
I feel like if I'm going to pick one this month, it should be something really, really big that slipped through the cracks. And maybe maybe it holds up, maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out on the next episode.
On the next... Is that a teaser?
Well, it's a bit of a teaser.
A little bit.
That's okay, though.
Are you going to have time for this? Are you going to have time for The Apartment, Ambulance, and maybe Everything Everywhere All at Once? That's three films? You can do that.
Yeah, I don't think I have that busy of a week, actually.
Well, at least...
I should be fine.
At least 2. Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll find time.
How are your grades? How are your grades?
Good. Everything... You know what I'm going to say?
Everything's what?
Everything except for Spanish.
Everything except for Spanish is doing wonderful.
I have a 100% or over in every class except for Spanish.
All right. Well, that's part of your GPA and, merit scholarships and all that and whatever.
I know. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best.
I heard
we're almost through it.
I heard you got some bad dorm news today for next year. I hear you
oh, my God. Don't even get me started on this.
You may not get the dorm you
want.
My
friends...
Uh-oh. Here we go. Here comes college bitching 101.
My friends were in line. Not in line. They had their meeting today to figure out where they were going to live next year.
So you guys...
Everyone has a meeting assigned to them and their roommates.
Gotcha.
We're not until the 5th, so it's going to be slim pickings.
How come you're not...
They got today.
How come you didn't get till the 5th? Was it done by what, looks?
No, it's done by how well you did in high school. Isn't that great? Isn't that great that now that we're in the adult world, we're still being judged by
high school.
the amount of credits we got in a meaningless schooling system? Well, here's the thing, because private schools are very different than public schools. Is the thing when it comes to GPAs.
Yeah,
I've learned.
Yeah,
well, very, very different.
Yeah,
but anyways, I'm getting off topic. I had a friend group. It was their meeting to go today, and they walked in, and the group that was in front of them got the last room of the big building that everyone wants to live in.
Right.
Which means that that's not longer available.
So you cannot live. So your first choice for dorm that you get to pick your sophomore year is now full before you've even gotten a chance to put in which one you'd want to live in.
And guess where that dorm building is, Dad?
Is it right next
it's
to the...
It's not near any other classrooms.
Is it right near the
film school? Except for the film building.
It's right by the film school.
So if you go to my college and you're a business major and you took my spot, don't talk to me, please. I don't like you.
Wow.
That's just what I want to say.
All right. So are you going to be in a dorm next year? Are they going to make you live in a tent, or how's that work? Do you have a camper?
I don't know.
How's that?
For all I know, I might be in the same building that I'm in right now.
What if you're in the same room? You could just stay right there. Look,
that's impossible.
It's all decorated.
This is a freshman dorm.
Oh.
I have learned this is a freshman dorm. I could not possibly land here next semester.
Unless you fail.
I could be in the same building unless I fail.
Then you got to be a freshman again.
But yeah, that's how my day went. Was just like just watching the numbers get smaller and smaller and go, wow, this is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fun times. Look at you at college, meeting beautiful women and partying, and I'm feeling so sorry for you right now.
It's a tough world out here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go curl up and watch John Oliver and fall asleep at 10:30. That's my exciting night.
I'm not far behind, Joe. I've been up since 6:30.
You're not going out tonight? It's Friday night.
No, I gotta be on set.
Dude, you have
tomorrow,
you have a name to live up to, okay?
a name to live up. I
forgot. You have the Burns moniker.
I forgot. Oh, that's a good point.
All right.
We're staying up late tonight.
Go find a rager somewhere. Hey, everybody out there, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at PGN Podcast. You can follow my son here on Instagram at Jackson. Is it Jackson Burns? At Jackson Burns?
Jackson N. Burns.
Jackson N.
A little extra N in there.
A little double N, Jackson N. Burns. You can follow me at Regan Burns or Regan Burns. However you want to P that.
Nice.
Jackson, tell them what kind of movies we're looking for, suggestions, and where they can put them.
Yeah, so as always, not next week, but the week after, we're looking for both great movies that you think we might have not seen and a terrible movie, like as my dad says, the Clockwork Orange movie, the movie that you're going to force us to watch because it's terrible. You can put that in the comment section below. You can DM the Instagram page. You can DM either of us privately on Instagram, comment on the TikTok. Literally just send it anywhere that we're going to see it, and we'll see it, and we'll add it to our list. And if you didn't get picked last week, your film is still on the list. Don't worry, you haven't been ruled out.
No. The list is growing. The list is growing. We need more great films and more bad films. I'm just, before I go, we both need to get out in the sun a little bit. I think we're too pale. I feel like.
You know what? Funny story. I found out.
It better be fun. Better be funny, Jackson, because it's the closer.
I've been accidentally giving myself chemical burn for the last 3 days.
That's hilarious, Jackson.
But isn't that But
that's not really you want to tell your dad at sign off. Hey, Dad, getting chemical burn at college. Don't have a dorm next
that's
year.
Why I look red and pale right now.
Well, how did you
did
you accidentally get a? Do I want to know?
It was the freaking acne medication that my doctor gave me.
And it was giving you a chemical burn. So
yeah.
Are we not using that anymore?
Well, no. I thought it was working. I thought that was why my face was burning. I was like, oh, this is working. And then my skin was like getting all messed up. And I was like, oh, this is not the way it's supposed to be. So I'm going to stop using that today. That was my learning moment of the week, I guess you could say.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week with reviews and discussion of new films, and we'll have an update on Jackson's dermatologist appointment that I'll be making right now as soon as I get off.
Yeah.
All right. Love you, buddy.
Love you too.
We'll see you next time, guys.